Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get started on pulling the motor out of the other Passat, um, motor and transmission. And I've pretty much got everything done on the other engine, and there's some stuff that I want to do on the car, but for now, let's go ahead and get started on pulling this motor out of the other Passat. Anyways, so for the most part, um, everything's gonna be a repeat of the last video that I did when I pulled the motor out of the other Passat. So I'm gonna spare you guys the boredom of watching me pull this motor out again, the same exact motor. And but then, if anything interesting arises, I'll bring the video back and show you guys what's going on. But I guess the next time you'll see me is when this motor is out. And motor.
So here you see me with my brother. We're actually putting the motor into the car. I didn't record any video of me putting the timing on here and putting the transmission, just because I didn't think it was necessary. There's already a pretty good video on this process, and the motor's a little bit different, but the basics are the same, and it's already written pretty well, so I just decided to skip all that. And I didn't really narrate much while we were putting this motor in, because me and my brother, we were kind of in a rush. We had to be somewhere after this, and so I was just kind of getting down there and trying to get this motor in as quickly as possible, and this was going to be the best opportunity to do this while my brother was here, because once my brother goes, I'm pretty much on my own. But here you can see me struggling. We're having to line up 4 different mounting points. There's 2 transmission mounts and then 2 engine mounts that we have to line up, and the engine is such a tight fit, we're having a pretty hard time getting it to line up properly. But eventually we got it to line up and everything was good to go.
Alright guys, earlier you guys saw me and my brother putting the motor in. Unfortunately, we were kind of in a rush, so I didn't have time to really do any talking or try to tell you what I was doing. But in that rush, also forgot to do something. I forgot to bolt the pressure plate to the torque converter. So now I'm gonna have to make things easier, I'm gonna have to remove the AC compressor and get the starter off so I can access the bolts on the flywheel to line it up and put on the bolts for the hose and pressure plate onto the torque converter. I don't have that much time today because I got off of work pretty late, but so I'm gonna at least try to get as much off as possible before it gets dark, and let's go ahead and get started, see what we can get done here. So here we should be able to access the bolts on a flywheel by turning the crank. So let's see if we can get those bolts on here. Sometimes they're kind of a pain in the butt to line up, but let's see what we can do.
So here you can move the torque converter once you find one of the holes for the nut, and you can just kind of turn the torque converter until you line up the holes, and then once you line up those holes, you can put in the screw. Generally, I like to put the screw in loosely, so that way the torque converter can still be moved a little bit up and down, so that way as you put in the other bolts, you can move the torque converter to get those other bolts.
Alright guys, here, a new day, doing some more work on the Passat motor. I'm really far behind on this motor, getting this car back up and running, so I'm having to do as much work as I can after I get off of work. Hopefully I'll be able to get a lot done today. I guess we'll see.
So here you can see me putting in the front core support. Typically on an automatic transmission, the transmission oil will run through the radiator for cooling. But in this particular case, whoever worked on this car before removed those lines and put in a aftermarket cooler. And you don't see me install it here, but there is an aftermarket cooler, and I think this is an upgrade to help with some cooling issues that the transmission had before.
I always prefer soldering over butt connectors just because there's just less likely to get corrosion on the power wire with soldering. So whenever I can, I solder.
So it actually took me a while to get this video up just because I was having issues with my software that I use to edit my videos, but hopefully I'll get back on track here soon, and hope to see you in the next video.